I've got irrelevant good news and insignificant bad news. The irrelevant good news is I actually just for the first time in a couple of years found the lens cap for my old Canon T3i. This is the old DSLR that I had way back like 2 years ago. I gave it to Ariana. She's been using it for a while. I finally got it back from her house and she stopped YouTubing. But this entire time for like 2 years, we've just kept it without a lens cap because I lost it so long ago and never thought to order a new one. Well, down in my basement, the part of the basement that had just been flooded with 2 inches of water, right next to the wash machine, I found a lens cap. And lo and behold, it fits. I found the lens cap to my T3i. I must have lost it when I first moved into this house 2 years ago. That's not important. What is also not important is the fact that I dropped this camera the other day in the gym and look what it did. Cracked the glass. Or plastic, whatever that is. Very unfortunate. No actual harm was done to the camera functionally at all. The lens is fine. The camera's fine. It still films and functions 1000% perfectly. But aesthetically, that is very sad. Little footwear update for any sneakerheads out there. I just got a couple of new things and I'm still waiting for a couple more. I got Jason Mark Repel. It's sort of like a little force field for your sneakers. And then I also got this microfiber towel. And I actually did a lot of research online before I bought this stuff. And I checked out a lot of reviews. And apparently, like, Jason Mark is really, really good. It's in high regard and high esteem for people that are serious about keeping their footwear clean. So this micro towel actually is like a legitimate high-end micro towel compared to a lot of other ones that I looked up, and the reviews all said that they were just basically towels marketed as micro towels and no real difference. But I guess that's supposed to be really good. This is supposed to be really good. And then I have an actual shoe cleaner coming in too with a little brush, also by Jason Mark. Major key, game changer. You guys know like Gucci Mane's song Trap House 3? I have that stuck in my head, the first line of it, but I don't really know what he says. So this whole time I've been singing, I told Pac to bring the pretzels, apply some pressure to the jab. So all I can take from that song, if my lyrics are correct, is that they're hosting a boxing match and he told his friend Pac to bring the pretzels. And then he's telling the boxer to apply pressure to his jabs. But I don't think that makes sense for Trap House 3. So if you guys can correct those lyrics for me, I don't want to Google them. I just like believing those are the lyrics. Speaking of weighing things out, look how accurate this is. 8 ounces of chicken on the dot, and that's that good crock pot chicken, so it just breaks apart. It's tender. Enter 170 grams of white rice from stage left. This is my breakfast at 3:26 p.m. Been intermittent fasting. And this is all tracked, and a major key is when you track barbecue sauce, always track like an extra tablespoon or so than you actually put in, just to be safe. DJ Khaled would be proud of me right now. Watering the plants, the angels. Major mail alert. 2 new shirts from my coach, Brett Gibbs. Squat, bench, deadlift. If you guys subscribe to Brett Gibbs, you already know that's his accent. Love you, Brett. So the first portion of this meal is going to be 142 grams of this concoction, which was given to me when I visited my parents. It's all healthy ingredients. It's not like a stick of margarine in there or anything, but it's white rice. It's long, rich, ingrained white rice with some vegetables, some carrots, and broccoli are in there. There's a little bit of steak in there. There was more, but in this specific bowl, there's only I eyeballed it at about 2 ounces, maybe 2.5 ounces of steak at most. And then the rest is just rice, and it looks like it was cooked in barbecue sauce. So how I tracked that is I added in 143 grams worth of white rice, even though not all of that is rice. It'll just track as extra carbs, making it all the more careful. And then I added in 2 ounces of steak. I didn't know what type of steak it was, but assuming they got it at Stop and Shop, which is our grocery store up here, I just put in the fattiest steak that Stop and Shop has, and I put in 2 ounces of that. So it's probably, if we're lucky, it's probably even leaner than the actual steak that I put into my MyFitnessPal. But again, putting in the most calorie-dense version is just playing it safe. And then I put in about a tablespoon of barbecue sauce, which I doubt is even that much barbecue sauce. But again, playing it safe. And then we're gonna add in some plain old seasoned chicken breast. Exactly 7 ounces of chicken breast has been added to that. And then we'll heat it up and mix it all around. Going to also steal a little shot of this. Do a triple serving. I was actually craving the taste of this for like the past hour. I think I looked at it when I first came in the kitchen, and that's why I got it in my head. And it's almost empty. Damn. Ooh. Stuff is so delicious. Speaking of, guys, if you guys managed to grab any of the new products that Ice Story just released, let me know below what you got and what you think of it. Here's a little food for thought. Something I was thinking about, something I've been thinking about. Genetics in bodybuilding are everything. We know that, right? I mean, you can still make gains and obtain a good physique even with poor genetics, but to become a top competitive bodybuilder, you need to have the right genetics for it. So to become an IFBB pro, you have to have way above average genetics. But then to go even further and become qualified for the Olympia, you have to have like the top 10% genetics in the world. And then to go even further to actually become Mr. Olympia, you have to have superior genetics even compared to the rest of the Olympia contenders. The difference in genetics between Phil Heath and, you know, someone who's placing 15th in the Olympia is most likely night and day. So genetics are everything as far as how far you can go in bodybuilding. Now, where I'm going with this is I hear a lot of talk about fake naturals on YouTube. And yes, there are a lot of fake natties on YouTube. That's a given. There are some people that are so obviously on stuff. But you hear names like Chris Jones being brought up a lot, Matt Keto, both of whom I'm good friends with. Much love to Chris and Matt. I hear the names brought up all the time for being fake naturals. Why? Because they look phenomenal. They don't look like they're completely natural, to be honest. Why don't they look like they're natural? Because for most of us with average genetics, or in my case below average genetics, we would all need to be on a little something at least to look like Chris Jones, to look like Matt Keto. So we look around and say, okay, well, all of us, we would need to be on something to look like them, so they must be on something to look like that. But my question to you is, what would happen if somebody like a Phil Heath or a Ronnie Coleman or a Jay Cutler, somebody with those A1 in a million genetics, pursued bodybuilding to the fullest, ate and trained 100% naturally? What would you be left with? I don't think you'd be left with a physique like mine. I think what you'd be left with is somebody like Chris Jones or Matt Keto. So what I'm basically saying is, I think obviously there are definitely fake naturals out there, but I think in cases like Chris Jones, where we haven't seen major night and day transformations, Chris Jones pretty much maintained the same general level of leanness and size over the last few years versus somebody like Boston Lloyd, who's admittedly on steroids. We watch him literally transform year to year. I think somebody like Chris Jones and Matt Keto could honestly be an example of 1 in a million, almost Mr. Olympia level genetics that were simply kept natural. What do you guys think of this? Let me know in the comments below. Just food for thought, and again, much love to Chris and Matt. If anything, this is a huge compliment to you, and if anything, I'm trying to defend you here, but that's my thoughts. I think what we're seeing is just A1 genetics. What would the current Mr. Olympia look like if he kept training and eating on point, but completely natural? I think you'd have a Chris Jones or a Matt Keto level physique. So first real bench press workout back. This is my first week of training, obviously. And you did see me do the spoto pressing the other day. But that's kind of an accessory lift, even though it's really close to a regular bench press. So this is my first time officially doing like competition bench pressing, and that's actually what it specified. The program specified specifically that I do competition bench pressing, 5x5, with 225 pounds. They even gave me the exact weight that I'm supposed to use today. So I did just that, 5 sets of 5. And competition benching means to literally do each and every rep as I would if I were in a competition, as if I was in a meet. So begin as if you heard a ref saying begin, pause it on your chest with enough time that you would have a ref realistically have you pause it for in a meet, and then press up, lock it out as if you're waiting for the ref to tell you to rack it, and then repeat that. So don't look at it as a set of 5 reps. Every single rep you do should be looked at as your first and only rep. So even if you're on rep number 3, go at it as if it's your 3rd attempt in a meet, that 1 rep right there. So instead of 5 reps, basically, look at it like 5 singles, if that makes sense. People ask why I choose to get a lift off on even lightweight like this. Honestly, guys, it makes a huge difference. Just that little lift off motion uses enough energy to actually affect your performance, and I didn't really ever think it did. I've lifted off 385 pounds by myself before. When I was using the slingshot, I lifted that off myself with no spotter around. I've lifted 365 off by myself. I have no issue giving myself a lift off, but what I did find is one day I was doing benching, and I was going pretty light, probably right around this weight, 225, and I was doing a lot of pause reps like this. And I was lifting it off myself because it was light. For the last set, I don't remember why, for whatever reason though, I had somebody give me a lift off, and oh my goodness, the difference in my energy for that set was amazing. I was able to pause longer and explode up much faster, and I didn't get fatigued as fast at all. It made such a huge difference. So I'm telling you guys, have somebody give you a lift off. It allows you to stay tight, and it allows you to utilize all of your energy and put it towards the set. After benching, I was instructed to do 4 sets of 10 reps. Talk about cardio, right? Of dumbbell shoulder pressing, a move I have not done in years. I honestly can't remember the last time I've done shoulder pressing with dumbbells. Or barbells for that matter, but definitely dumbbells. So I used 65 pounds for all 40 reps, and it killed me. It kicked my ass. Ended this bad boy with some body weight dips. 3 to 4 sets of 12 reps. Pretty short, sweet, and simple. And this is week 1, so now I'm going to report my numbers to Brett and Josh, and then we're going to get the next week cracking.